I'm Jacqueline Twilley, and today we are digging into knowing your value so that you can negotiate your worth. Well, just for those of you who are catching up, you don't know who I am. I'm president at ZeroGap.co, and at ZeroGap, we work with companies in male-dominated industries to deliver women's leadership training programs. So, as we dive into knowing your value so that you can negotiate your worth, this is a very personal topic because worth is tied to a lot of personal beliefs, and talking about money is also deeply personal. So, first off, we're not going to tackle any woo-woo crazy things today. We're going to go through some very practical items that you can use. So if you have a pen and pad, you definitely want to jot down a few notes here, okay? So when it comes to knowing your value, what do I mean by that? That term gets thrown around very loosely. A lot of people use the term know your value. But when it comes to your workplace and knowing your value in the workplace, it's about understanding how you solve problems and how you contribute in a meaningful way to achieve big goals. So each company, when they hire an employee, whether it is the CEO or someone on the entry level, they're hiring that person to fill a gap. There is a problem that that company is trying to solve, and they need a person in that position to actually go through and do the work. That's where the employee comes in. Again, it doesn't matter what level you're on. At each level, there are expectations. Now, just doing the bare minimum, that's what the paycheck is for. You're paid to do the work. But when you go above and beyond, and when you start to deliver exceptional value to the organization, that's where you get to go in and ask for a promotion or a raise or more responsibility or to be placed on special assignments and tied to a bigger bonus. So practically speaking, when there is a team meeting or a group email that goes out and says, this is the new company initiative, these are the things that we're working towards, those are the things you really want to grapple on. Now, I get it. Change is hard. When my favorite recipe, this beef, stay with me here. It's like a beef brisket. That's it. A brisket dish that I would get, and I would come home and mix it in with asparagus and mushrooms. When that brisket was no longer available at my local grocery, it threw me into a pickle because that was my go-to meal. Change is hard. Now that's something simple, right? But when you're thinking about workplace change, when that email comes out or happens and it's all hands on deck, there's even more resistance. It's not like my beef brisket, okay, where I can look for another store who has the brisket or find a brisket alternative. In most cases at work, people fear change because they don't want to lose their job security and their comfort. Now, this is where knowing your value comes into play. Because if you know that you are a key contributor to your organization, or you want to be a key contributor to your organization, what you do in that moment is you seize those opportunities when the company has a new initiative and you dive in head first. You learn as much as you can. You become energetic. You provide feedback. You openly share your positive thoughts towards it. And hey, you can even say, if you're nervous, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm fully on board, and your actions align with that. And when your actions align with that and you start to deliver results, that's when you know you're adding significant value. Now, ladies, women have a hard time when they take on these initiatives, they're very passionate about work, they have a hard time receiving praise. So if someone, whether it's a colleague or a supervisor or maybe someone in the community says, you're doing a good job, don't dismiss it. Don't downplay your value. Oftentimes, women downplay their value by saying, no big deal. That was easy. I could do that in my sleep. When you do those things, what tends to happen is you dismiss the value that you add. And when you begin to dismiss the value that you add, you allow other people to do the same. You practically give them permission to discount the value you're adding to the organization. So what I would like you to do instead is this. So take notes here, pause it, get your pen and paper. All right. Start to say instead, thank you for recognizing that. I pride myself on doing this well. I'm 100% behind this initiative. I'm giving this all I got, and I'm glad you can see that I'm putting a lot of effort into it. Something along those lines. If that's a bit much for your personality, you can start by simply saying thank you. By saying thank you when you receive praise, you begin to stand in your success. You begin to know the value that you add to the organization. Now, we covered this already. Doing just what the job description says, that's the bare minimum. That's what you get the paycheck for. But for going above and beyond, that's where you get to add value. So I also want to clarify this. I am not saying that you should work 90 hours a week. The amount of hours that you work, in most cases, it doesn't correlate to the value you add. Because at some point, your body has to recharge, your brain has to recharge in order for you to function at an optimal level. So what I'm not saying is just being there, going through the motions. What I'm saying is when you're somewhere, be fully present in the moment. That means eliminate as many distractions as possible so that you can be fully engaged and really deliver excellent value, exceptional value in that case. So I don't want anyone to get misconstrued here and think that what I'm saying is that you need to work towards burnout, burn yourself out, both handles on the end of the stick. Now, I get it. Sometimes there's a project and you might push yourself a 10-hour day. I get it. Sometimes that's going to happen, but that should not be your everyday. There's so much research that shows that that is counterproductive and it doesn't help your productivity at all. So think about ways today that you can go above and beyond, that you can increase the value that you add to your organization so that when you know your value, you can go in and confidently state how you're significantly impacting the organization. And when you get that part down, when you really know that you're adding significant value, then you can go in if you want and ask for a promotion or a raise or a new title or something along those lines, more responsibility to be put on a special project, because you've proven yourself to be someone in the organization who goes the extra mile and who is delivering exceptional value. So that's it for this video. Until next time, continue to emulate excellence and eliminate excuses. My name is Jacqueline Twilley.